You're listening to the Trade Show Insights Podcast, Season 14, Episode 12. I'm your host and exhibit marketing strategist, Marlis Arnold, bringing you tools to improve your exhibit results. On today's episode, brought to you by the Exhibit Marketers Cafe, we're continuing our conversation with industry expert Candy Adams, and today we're focusing on installation and dismantle. Last time we decoded the mysteries of drayage, and if you haven't listened to part 1, you'll find a link for that in today's show notes.
Well, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about, we focused for so far all on drayage, but the other part of this component that still kind of ties in is installation and dismantle, or better known as I&D. And again, there's a lot of, shall we say, questionable things that happen in that arena as well. So let's address some of those kinds of things.
Okay. Well, the first thing I want to say is, the first thing you need to know is we pay the same for everybody on the crew, even though they are getting 4 different rates. There is a lead person, there is an A laborer, a B laborer, and a C laborer, and under their contract, based on their experience, they are all paid differently, and we pay one rate that is a huge markup, plus all of their benefits, all of their pension, all of their medical, all their legal, their vision, everything you can think of. We pay for all of those things in the rate that we pay whoever we pay. And they roll that in and call it a city rate. But you have to look at the fact that your lead person in your booth it gets what's known as a kicker, and that's $1 or $2 an hour more for putting up with us. Then that person is usually the highest paid person also with the most experience. They're an A laborer, and that means they're a journeyman. They have gone through all the training and have plenty of years of doing it to be at the top pay grade. Then there is a B laborer. That is a person who is in the apprentice program but hasn't completed it yet. They don't have enough hours. And I'll tell you, Marlis, when I started in the industry back in 91, in Las Vegas, it took 7 years to become a journeyman.
Wow.
It now takes 6 months to get to the highest pay grade.
Wow.
So this is why the quality of our labor has gone down, because to get people into the unions who give up all their weekends to work for us, they have had to raise the rates. And that is a lot of the reason why the I&D has gone up so much. The C laborers, believe it or not, are actually what they call day laborers. And in many cities where they have a shallow labor pool, they don't have enough people in the union hall, in the program, paying dues, they go out and get homeless people.
Wow.
So if the people working in your exhibit don't smell the best, they have their shoes put together. I had one guy tell me, I come in and do this whenever I need to duct tape my shoes together because I can always find duct tape on the show floor.
Whoa.
And that's how sad it is.
Wow.
So those are your C laborers, and they are paid cash at the end of the day based on their time slip and no benefits. So if you're paying minimum wage in a city of $12 an hour and you're paying, let's just say $105 is the labor rate, and they're not paying any benefits on that person, do you see a little markup there?
Yeah, just a little.
When I basically put in my labor, let's say I have, my next exhibit's a 20 by 20. I say I want my lead, who's an A laborer. I want 2 B laborers, who are at least in the apprentice program, and no more than 1 C.
Yeah.
If I'm in a city that has not enough labor, I will sometimes order 1 extra person and then at 10 a.m. cut what I call the dead wood. The person who's not carrying their end of the log,
Yeah.
and send them back to the labor desk and say, oh, we're doing so well, I don't need this person. And you can cut people off your crew anytime. So at least it gives me 4 people that are breathing and might have a tool.
Yeah, yeah. And probably got rid of that homeless guy with the duct tape shoes.
Yes. And so basically then you have to decide, are you going to go with the official? Now I have to point out, this is one of the most recent things that I learned in the last year. We used to always call these people the general contractor or the general service contractor. Mm-hmm. According to IAEE, which is the organization of all the show managers, these people are now known as the official contractor.
Ah.
So if you hear me going back and forth, because to me official meant they got their page in the book.
Yeah.
But now they don't want to be called the general contractor anymore. So Freeman and GES don't want to be the GSC. They want to be the official service contractor. So, like I say, I don't want to confuse things any worse because we've got so many kinds of contractors. But they can provide you labor, but that's all they provide, where if you hire an EAC, an exhibitor-appointed contractor, and I will just list off a whole bunch of them here, and then maybe you can add some. You've got your Coastals and your Renaissance and your Octanes and your Nth Degrees, all of those kind of people say, we do more. We give you a service. We make sure everything comes together, but we're going to charge you higher rate than the city rate that's on your piece of paper that came from the official or general service contractor. Mm-hmm. So that's the difference of knowing which one you're hiring. But why do you hire one over the other? I hire the GSC when I need favors. If you do not hire them and you want an early move-in or a variant, you're not going to get it if you're using an EAC.
Right.
So if you hire the EAC, though, they generally try to hand-pick the guys out of the union hall, and you're going to get a higher caliber of B laborer, let's say. He's the B laborer who's a year away from being the journeyman. He's not the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
And there's also going to be differences in billing. You have to pay, before the show's over for all your inbound I&D, your I, and then as soon as the show's over, they hit you with the D. Well, you can get 30-day terms with an EAC. And if there's any problems, you've got time to go back and fix it. But the general or official service contractor says, if you didn't solve this billing problem before you left the show floor, too bad, so sad.
Right, yeah.
So, and the other thing I have learned, and this is a combination of using drayage to your advantage, material handling, use the advanced warehouse, because this next show I'm going into, I was not coming in on my targeted inbound, where they tell me when I can bring my freight in direct to site. I would not have gotten any straight time on this exhibit build. So I brought it into the advanced warehouse. So now instead of having a Saturday targeted inbound, my freight will be on the show floor on Thursday morning, and I'm setting all day Friday.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yes, and I also do the same thing on my D on the other end. Everybody's frantically trying to tear apart their exhibit on overtime when the show breaks. You might have 1 hour. By the time they get the carpet up, you might have 1 hour to get your labor in there on straight time and all the rest overtime. And you might not even have your crates back to put the stuff in. So I take down the monitors. I take down and lock up in my information counter that has a really good lock on it, because there's only 14 keys in the whole industry,
Yeah.
Yeah. They say an I&D guy, when he gets 14 keys, he's got it all. So I lock everything up, and then I start on the next morning on straight time. And I do my entire teardown on straight time, still have time to get out.
Yeah.
And that way I'm not completely bushed, at the end of the show, but I do it on straight time and save my clients a lot of money by having almost no overtime unless there's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another one of those things, when you do the pre-planning and you figure all these things out ahead of time, you can strategize and you can fill in those time slots as need to be.
Yes.
Another thing that I always tell exhibitors ahead of time is to pre-plan your setup. Like, set up your exhibit ahead of time, know what it's going to take, and also working with the exhibit designers to have instructions, because you and I both know that a lot of these union guys, especially you get to the C people, they don't know squat about setting anything up. And if you've got, the spelled out step-by-step instructions from your exhibit house, hopefully that helps shave off a little bit of the time.
Well, and I'll take that a step further, Marlis. Photos. We've all got the cell phone, and I have the guys before they or as they're taking the thing back down after my preview, take pictures of anything where cords go together, where they have stuff zip tied, where they have, how do they put it back in the crate? How do these things fit in the crate? Because nothing's worse than having them, you're ready to get out of there and something won't fit in the crate because they didn't get it back in right.
Right.
And the guys actually take these pictures and staple them on the inside of my crate doors.
Exactly. So there is no question and no, no, oh, gee, we lost the instructions,
Yes. And so I have learned these things. And are you familiar with dead men? And this isn't your D-labor. A dead man is a fake piece of wood, and at least this is what my exhibit house calls it, and it's sort of like a template where you're laying things out and everything has to be right in the right place as they're setting them up, or they're using it to hold up a piece till they get the piece out that bolts onto it.
Oh, okay.
And I make sure that I've got all of those. I know where they are. They come out first. They come out with the gang box. They come out with the drawings, and those are marked on what crate they're in, and that saves a lot of time. The other thing I found out is spending the first 10 minutes of my day getting to know the guys.
Yes.
Knowing and telling them what my expectations are and showing them pictures and showing them I've got 3 sets of drawings here. One's full size, 2 are smaller. I'll have them all the way around here. I'm here if you need somebody to just hold something.
Right.
I know I can't pick up a tool, but nothing says I can't steady this piece of whatever, while you need it. And they know I'm there, and they also know I'm going to go ballistic on them if I see a safety violation and they're out of my booth. No standing on the top of ladders, no unsafe use of carpet knives. I had one guy trying to cut up my disc queen with a machete. And he's slicing the machete along the side of my SEG graphic to go all the way to the floor and cut my graphic. And so I had to basically get like white electrical tape. And, you could see it a little bit at the bottom, a little shadowing.
Wow.
But that guy was out of there. But they're forewarned that you won't ever hear me holler unless it's because I see a safety violation. And I am just death on anybody getting hurt in my booth.
Right. Well, and just like you said, just like stupid things like the machete. I mean, it's like, why would you even attempt to use that? I mean,
Well, do you want to know why? He had bad knees, and that way he could stand up and cut along the edge.
Oh.
But he couldn't get the angle on it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's where you have that guy doing some other kind of task.
Yeah. I also had a guy in New York, and I had an exhibit that went through, and it was literally an 8-foot-high exhibit that had 3 different levels of panels, and each one went together with a different color fastener, and they were blue, gray, and red. I had them all laid out in order, but the guy was just picking up whatever was nearest to him at the top.
Ugh.
He was colorblind and could not tell the difference between the blue and the gray.
Oh, so he wasn't doing it just to be lazy. He really had a
reason.
No,
he had a reason until I asked, is there some reason you're having so much problem with this? And he goes, yeah, lady, I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
And I said, well, nothing against you, but my thing is I have got to get this exhibit up on straight time.
Yeah.
And, right now we're behind. I'm going to go trade you out so you get on a job you're more comfortable with, and I get a laborer that I know can tell the colors.
Yeah.
And we did that, and while they did the swap, and they understood.
Yeah, well, that's good.
like I say, these are things, don't be afraid to go back to the labor desk and say, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
Because you're paying darn good money for these people.
That's true. Well, and in that case, like you said, he was able to shift to a job where he didn't have to worry about dealing with colors. So
yes.
So, well, Candy, we have covered a lot of ground here talking about some very hot button issues. And some of the, honestly, these are some of the, what I guess you could call the elephants in the room that everybody dreads and hates, but nobody really knows what to do about it. So you've given us a ton of tips today and strategies and things. And I'll also share some links to some of your articles that you did on Exhibitor Magazine on their website about some of these different tips on drayage and I&D and stuff, so people can go and get more resources. But how else can people contact you if they have additional questions or if they would like to have you as their project manager?
Well, if you Google Booth Mom, I'm the only one, I say, except no imitation, there's only one Booth Mom. But my website is boothmom.com. There's a contact page on it. And right over by the contact page, Marlis, is where that resources page is with the live links to all the articles I've written, and I've written over 400 articles for the industry. So if you're looking for anything, go out there and just download them. If you don't get what you need, call me, because I probably got something else I can send you. You know, always call me. My phone number is on my website, and I'm a 724 person with a lot of inbound international clients. So if the phone rings, I answer it. So if you're ever in a bind, put me on speed dial. You know, I'm there for you.
And you've definitely seen it all, and you've probably dealt with most any possible situation when it comes to what goes on the show floor.
Well, there was a saying a while back, been there, done that, and I don't know how many times I've used that one, but yes, there's not many things that surprise me anymore.
No, I'm sure that's true. Well, Candy, thank you so much for taking time out to share your wisdom and your years of experience with everybody on Trade Show Insights, because this is definitely an area, this is not my area of expertise, nor do I want to get involved with all of the issues that you've had to solve over the years, but God bless you for doing it. You've saved a lot of exhibitors a lot of headaches and a lot of money over the years, so I think that
if I may say, I've ticked off a lot of those official general contractors by telling people how it really works.
I'm sure that's true, too. Well, Candy, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your insights today.
Well, thanks for having me, Marla.
Remember, if you haven't already listened to part 1 of Candy's interview, all about decoding the mystery of drayage, you'll want to check out the link in today's show notes at tradeshowinsights.com so that you can go catch up on that. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like more, you can subscribe to the Trade Show Insights podcast and automatically receive future episodes on your chosen device. Simply go to tradeshowinsights.com, click on podcast in the top menu, and then subscribe, and you'll find instructions for Apple, Android, and more. Trade Show Insights is protected by the Creative Commons copyright license. You may feel free to share this recording with colleagues or embed it on your own blog as long as it's shared in its entirety and is not used for commercial purposes. To learn more, please see the link in the sidebar of the show notes at tradeshowinsights.com. Well, that's it for this episode of Trade Show Insights. Be sure to check out our show notes and archives at tradeshowinsights.com. You can also connect with me using the social media links or contact page on the site. I'm Marlis Arnold. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us next time for more tools to improve your exhibit results.